Before we get started, I'd like to say hello to everybody on YouTube. Please do subscribe. Google is being evil and really inhibiting those of us with few subscribers. If I had 100 subscribers, we would be streaming this live over YouTube right now, which I can't do because I've only got 31 subscribers as of this moment. In approximately 5 minutes, we'll begin the 2 a.m. net. KC9UDX net control here. Good evening. This is Kilo Charlie 9er Uniform Delta X-Ray. My name is Matt and I welcome you to the 2 a.m. net. The purpose of this net is to promote the use of amplitude modulation and also to establish this part of this band as a place for AM activity in this area. Everyone is invited to listen, and licensed amateurs who can do so legally are encouraged to check in. We listen in the AM mode and transmit in the AM mode where possible. If you cannot transmit in AM, we encourage you to listen in AM and transmit in FM. If you are transmitting in FM, please adjust your transmit frequency a couple kcs above or below from our receive frequency. This facilitates the use of slope detection, that is, demodulating your FM signal with our AM receivers. When checking in, please announce your call sign in standard phonetics. Again, this is KC9UDX. My name is Matt, and I will now begin accepting check-ins. Any station wishing to check in, please come now.
Good evening, Matt, W9JCC.
Recognizing our ever faithful check-in, Frank, W9JCC. Do we have anybody else? Come now, please. Well, I'm not hearing anybody at this point. I am hearing quite a bit of what seems to be distant activity in this area, not exactly on this frequency, but sort of like last month. Strange CW type sounds that I can't quite make out, and even what sounds like a sidebander. So if you hear anything that sounds like we're interfering, then we can move here. I don't hear anything like that at this point, but also if you hear anybody else trying to check in, please let me know. Frank, I'll send it right to you, W9JCC from KC9UDX.
Okay, good evening, Matt, KC9UDX, W9JCC. No, I don't hear anything else. I just hear a little background noise in there and not much of anything else, Matt. And, let's see what's been going on. Oh, we had the FM contest over the weekend, and I think I didn't keep count of how many contacts I made, but I think I made about 5 or 6. And then I saw your post there on your daughter's skiing adventure with you. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I kind of skipped through it real quick and saw part of it, so it was kind of neat. And other than that, we haven't been doing a whole lot too exciting. Did our usual snow blowing, and I got a nice ice dam right at the bottom of the driveway that I'm trying to get rid of. It's a little bit better now, but when I first found you a day or two ago, there was no use even trying to stand on it. It was so slippery, so I walked around my neighbor's driveway to get down to my mailbox. Anyway, what's going on with you, Matt? KC9UDX, W9JCC.
All right, thank you, Frank. And you mentioned that ice. I almost have a similar kind of problem here. This happens every single year. I'm low on heating oil right now, and I would like to call for an oil delivery, but of course we had all of that snow, and it will irritate the oil truck driver if I call them. He will have no problem getting into my driveway, and if he's smart about it, he wouldn't have any problem getting out, but those guys, they don't take it lightly when the driveway isn't crystal clear, so I'll have to wait for that. It looks like it's going to warm up here this week for the rest of the week, and maybe get cold over the weekend, so if I get too low on oil, I'll be buying diesel fuel for the meantime, which is not the end of the world, but it just kind of figures this happens to me every year. And with the skiing, yeah, unfortunately, I should have brought an extra battery along for the camera. I really regret that. I ran out of battery just as the trails really start to get interesting there. And there's another video uploading right now of us going on one of the more interesting parts of that trail this afternoon. But I think that video will be probably done uploading around 9:30, in which case I don't know if I'll get a chance to publish it or not. We'll see here. And of course I am videotaping what we're doing here right now, and that will go on YouTube probably tomorrow or the day after, depending on when I get a chance to splice all the videos together. The GoPro camera that I use splits up the video into 4 gigabyte segments, which is a good thing. It would be difficult to handle the files otherwise, but it does take time to splice those all back together. And well, I was going to say something else here, now I forgot, but let's see if we have any more check-ins for the 2 a.m. net. Come now, please. Alright, none so far, and I haven't managed to jog my memory on the other comment I was going to say, so I'll turn it back to you, Frank, KC9UDX.
Okay, Matt, KC9UDX, W9JCC. Yeah, nothing heard in the background. I thought I heard something way back there, but it was so weak I wasn't sure if it was my imagination or just somebody very extremely weak in the background. And yeah, find on the videotaping or video gathering there, Matt. And I've never really done that. I'm not even quite sure how you do it, how you put it on YouTube. So you might give me a quick rundown on how that's accomplished. And well, we've been playing around a little bit with our TV here. The cable rates went up again, so I was poking around. I downloaded YouTube TV, a free trial, which is still on there. I think it's done on the 17th. But I've already gotten out of it. It works real good, but I figured even though slightly cheaper than what I've got now, by the time if I were to switch over, I'd still be paying a little less, but not a whole lot less that it's worth making the switch. So I've put on some other stuff that I've loaded in Terranium. I guess I'm not even sure I'm pronouncing that right. That's going to have a free thing you can get on if you have Fire Stick or one of those, and that seems to work kind of okay. Yeah, so other than I have anything to do with it, because it takes a few extra steps when you want to bring in a movie or what have you. But it does seem to work pretty good. I watched the first episode of Band of Brothers, which I've seen before, maybe 3 or 4 times, but really good series, and so I watched that again this afternoon. So anyway, as far as the driveway goes, mine is pretty almost crystal clear. It's just right at the bottom where the gutter is, and we had a thawing, and then it froze up, and it made the ice about 1.5 inches thick, maybe 2 foot wide, all the way across the front of my drive, right between the driveway and the street. So I'm hoping for the warm weather tomorrow to hopefully thaw that away. And the problem is the weather didn't have anywhere to go. The neighbor, there was snow by the gutter just down the road from me, so it blocked it all up. Anyway, back to you then at KC9UDX, W9JCC.
Well, yeah, I'm hoping that when it thaws out here, I have time to go out and shovel. The sooner I can get my driveway cleared, like I say, the sooner I can call for oil. Unfortunately, I'll be working 12-hour days the rest of the week, so I don't know if I'll have the ambition or time to be shoveling anyway. My wife is really not supposed to be doing that. She did shovel the portion of the driveway close to the house where the cars are, but she really shouldn't even be doing that. We actually have no real good reason to be shoveling other than letting the oil truck in, and maybe if we order something that comes from UPS or Postal Service or something that has to be delivered by a package. Neither one of us have any problem driving in any depth of snow, and it's kind of nice having snow in the driveway. That's that many less people that turn around in our driveway. I don't know what it is about our driveway that people like to turn around here. And unfortunately, sometimes when there's a little bit of snow, they pull into the driveway and they get stuck. So I'd prefer to have a lot of snow so they're not even tempted to pull in. And as far as the cable rates, I did not know that cable rates went up. I have not had cable here since 2000, maybe 2009 or 2010. And I have Time Warner service here now for internet. I just signed up for that in December. Now I kind of wonder, and I haven't got around to trying this yet, I wonder if I plug in a cable demodulator, if I actually get the basic channels. I have a funny feeling that I would, because I think in the past I have subscribed to Time Warner's internet service without television, and I was still able to get the basic TV stuff. But maybe not. Maybe they've gotten better about that. I know they'd like to charge an extra $45 or something for the basic channels. I don't watch enough TV to care. We have an antenna and get local TV from mostly Madison, but also Milwaukee and somewhere up north. I don't remember exactly where that's coming from. But we mostly watch the Madison channels and some of the Milwaukee ones. But I don't really watch a whole lot of TV anyway. I don't really watch movies anymore either. I can count the number of movies I've watched in the past 5 years on one hand, I think. And we have Kodi, or whatever the version that I've installed is called. I think it's not called Kodi, but it is Kodi anyway. It runs on a Raspberry Pi box. I have these things glued to the back of several TVs here. And we can watch YouTube and a couple of other things, but mostly YouTube. And I don't pay for the YouTube TV service. There's enough content for me to watch on YouTube's free portion. For now anyway, it seems like I can imagine that Google is going to squeeze that out eventually. They're really trying to squeeze out those of us who provide content who don't generate a lot of revenue for them. And I don't know how much longer I'll be able to do the YouTube thing, but we will see. So far, there's no threat of that stuff going away. Although for people who are making money, which I am not, they're making that extremely difficult to do. And like I was saying, not on the air here at the beginning of the YouTube video, you'll see this if you watch it, but you know, if I could get 100 subscribers, we could be live streaming this on YouTube right now, but YouTube won't let me do that the way I have things set up here, without 100 subscribers, and I only have 31 right now. So hopefully I can get a few more, and hopefully by the time I get to 100, they don't increase that to some higher number. But we will see. And as far as uploading to YouTube, it's as long as you have a sort of modern computer, it's painfully simple. First, you have to create a channel, though, and that's not too difficult either. Once you create a channel, you hit the upload button, you drag in the file that you want to upload, and away it goes. If you go to YouTube, I'd like to say it's real easy to set up an account, but it's been so long since I've had to do it, I'm not sure. I don't think there's anything real difficult about any of it. But now that I say that, I could be wrong. I see the battery on my camera is depleting very rapidly, and I'm not exactly sure why that is. So we may not get the whole net here on YouTube. We'll see. I'm down to 1/3, and I like I say, I don't know why that is. Anyway, let's see if we have some more check-ins. We're at the bottom of the list. Anybody wishing to check into the 2 a.m. net, come now, please. Hearing none, back to you, Frank, KC9UDX.
Okay, Matt, KC9UDX, W9JCC. Yeah, unfortunately, on our job, I work on it every morning, Matt, to go down and get the paper, so I like to keep it clean. If it gets icy, then I gotta get the old anti-skid gadgets put on my boots so I don't flip over and land on the concrete. And we have a lot of people turn around, not in our driveway, but on our cul-de-sac. We're right across from the school. And we have school buses, cars, you name it. Certain times of the day, you know, like around 8:30 in the morning and 3:30 in the afternoon. There's an awful lot of traffic here in the cul-de-sac. And I'm also still on the Time Warner cable part of Spectrum, still on the same platform that we had before. So although we're paying a bill of Spectrum, we're still using the old Time Warner cable platform. Yeah, we got all three, you know, the bundle there with the phone, internet, and TV. And they got set up really to their advantage there, because if you get all three of them, they knock the price down a little bit. And if you drop any of them, then the price goes up on the individual ones. And if you're a new customer, you get a real great rate. You know, you get like I think they're $30 a piece. But once you're in there for a while, the price goes up. Yeah, we had a price increase, and it went up because we ended our year. I guess they froze it for a year, and then at the end of the year they look at it again and decide they can pull a few more bucks out of you. And I was thinking about maybe dropping part of it. You still have to have the internet, so you drop the other two, and the internet price goes up considerably. So, yeah, we got the local TV too. I've got a couple of long wire antennas, and I modeled them on EasyNet, and the SWR is infinity, pretty darn close. But it's got the forward gain of almost like a roundbike, you know, because I've got about 25 feet, and you get a couple of forward-going lobes in the right direction there toward Milwaukee, and you pick up quite a few of the stations. I get about 25 or 30 stations. And yeah, Cody, did I drop out, Matt?
Yes, you did.
Okay, I don't know if I got a bad switch on the mic or whether I just let go. Anyway, I think I'm back on. I better keep one eye on the power meter here, or output meter. And one question I had was, who are your 31 or so subscribers there? I was curious if they're from all around the world, or local, or what kind of people are subscribing. Is it just hams, or do you know, or do you care? And yeah, and I think Cody, I think I'm going to download that. If I hadn't gotten watching some other program here this afternoon, I would have probably downloaded that one and tried it just to see. But this Ethereum, I think it was a similar type thing, and it was a pretty easy one to load up on Fire Stick. Anyway, back to you there on that KC9 UDX W9JCC.
All right, thank you, Frank. And as far as Cody goes, it's really slick. The problem is that the motion picture companies, I don't know exactly who they are, cable companies and whoever, are really trying to put a stop to it. Cody makes it really convenient for people to write software that works with it. And for the longest time, one of these things called add-ons, one of them was called Covenant. I have never had it myself, so I don't know too much about it, but I hear about it quite a bit. And apparently with Covenant you could watch free TV, you know, commercial TV, without watching the commercials, I suppose, from multitude of sources. And recently that came to a screeching halt because of the motion picture industry, I guess. And sooner or later they're going to have their way and put a stop to Cody too, even though there's nothing inherently illegal or wrong about Cody the way it is. But if you can get that, I would highly recommend it. I have not run it on a desktop computer like most people do. I run it on standalone devices, and it really excels in that way. But I suppose it would work good on a desktop computer or something too. As far as my 31 subscribers, no, I do not know who they are. I know who I think 7 or 8 of them are. When you set up your YouTube channel, you can there's one of the preferences you can set is whether you keep that stuff hidden or not. As in, if you keep yours hidden and you subscribe to my channel, then my subscriber number will go up by 1, but I won't know who it is that's subscribed. And only people who make that public show up in the list. And I would say I don't think any of them are international. YouTube is very Google is very strange about how they promote videos, and I suspect none of my videos get promoted outside of the country. Although I think there might be a few of them, because I have some videos of me playing German songs, and I use the German title of the song in the video, and maybe I get views from Germany. But I think if I look in my statistics, that's less than 1%, and that's just due to the way Google promotes videos. Of the subscribers that I do have, some are hams, at least the ones that I know of. Some are. It's probably less than half, I think. Others are YouTube subscribers that have found me through other means, mostly through some of my computer videos or things I don't exactly recall. That's pretty interesting that you modeled your TV antenna in EasyNet. That's I have never played around with that software. I would really like to if I ever had time, and that's just one of those things I just don't get time to play with. And as far as the phone, I was going to say I have recently bought a device that I can do voice over IP and set up. I can connect my home phone system here. I've got several phones. I've got phone jacks in every room. Well, every room except the bathroom. My house is built after 1960, which means it doesn't have phone jacks in all the bathrooms. I never figured out why, but houses older than that seem to always have them like that. In any case, I have not actually got it working yet. I've got one phone plugged in, and you can pick up the phone and it gets a dial tone, but it's only connected to that box. I forget how many cell phones here with free service through Freedom Pop. Maybe I've got a dozen of them. And ideally, I would use one of those to handle the phone connection, and then I would have a home phone here that would work over one of those, and actually not going over the cellular airwaves. It would go over the internet. Because Freedom Pop is voice over IP, and I have not figured out yet how to get that set up. I think it was a week ago or so I was reading detailed instructions on how to do it, and that's how I was able to pick the specific device that I ended up buying. But now that I've bought it, I can't find those instructions anymore, so I'll have to do some digging. The alternative, of course, if I can't get that to work, is to use Google Voice or something like that. But we will see. That prevents me from having to pay Time Warner or somebody else for a phone line. A regular plain old telephone service, POTS they call it now, phone line would be well over $100 a month. And through Time Warner, I think it's $75 a month unless you bundle them like you have. And once they do that, the cost for the phone is almost nothing. You're paying for everything else. And I don't want to go down that route. I pay the introductory rate right now for internet, which is I think $47 a month, and that would be I think about $20 more once the promotion runs out. And frankly, the promotion is going to run out in December or January, and what's going to happen is I'm either going to convince them to give me the promotion for the next year, or I'm just going to cancel the service and do something different. I'm not going to play that game. It irritates me that they do business like that. At least this time they did give me the promotional rate. The last two times that I signed up with Time Warner, they forgot to give me the promotional rates and would refuse to do it no matter how much I complained. And well, we're at the bottom of the list. Let's see if we have any more check-ins. Anybody wants to check into the 2 a.m. net, call KC9UDX.
K9, good evening.
All right, here we go. Got two more. K9FI, Jerry, welcome to the net. And Dale, AB9DW, another regular. Welcome to the net. Anybody else wants to check in, come now, please. Hearing none, I will go to Jerry, K9FI. Jerry, I'm not sure if you've ever checked into the net here or not. I'd have to look through the archives here to see if you have, but I don't think you have. So please do tell us if you have. And either way, welcome and say what you will. K9FI from KC9UDX.
Okay, I think that's Matt, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. No, Matt, I've never been checked into this before. In fact, last, what night was that? Friday, we talked about it, and I thought I would try it. And I'm running an ICOM 7000 here. I'm running it off of a 14-foot vertical collinear 2-meter 440 antenna. So I think I'm running around 25 watts. And if you're interested, I'm located on about 180th and Blue Mound in that region. So no, Matt, I never did it. In fact, I was sleeping in my chair upstairs and I realized it was 8 o'clock. I've been wanting to do this for quite a long time since I was talking to Dave DeVivo about it and some of the guys, and I thought I really got to try it once. And I'm glad that you're doing it because years ago we used to have an FM simplex net on 2 meters on one night it would be a FM simplex and the other night it would be sideband, and the guy who used to run the net was up near Elkhart Lake, up in that region, up near Randolph, Wisconsin, and that was a lot of fun. So what you're doing here I think is a neat idea, and I'm going to try to become a regular. So back to you there, K9FI.
All right, thank you, Jerry. And again, thank you for checking in. You do have a nice signal. I don't have an S meter. I've got a 0 to 10 gauge, so it's almost like a percent. You're number 7, solid number 7 on my meter, which is about 70% signal here, which is pretty good. Your audio is a little fuzzy, and I'm not sure why that is. Maybe some settings in your radio, but it's nothing objectionable, so it's nothing to get worried about. And we have been doing this for a couple of years, and it's a lot of fun. It is something different. I don't know that there's anybody else in this particular area that does this. There are groups to the west and to the south that I know of that are out of our range here. There used to be some guys from one of the groups to the west that would try to check in, but band conditions pretty much allow or disallow that. And well, it's good to have you here. And we'll go next to Dale, AB9DW. Dale, what do you have for the net this month? KC9UDX here.
Good evening, Matt. Good evening, Jerry. And thanks. Let's see. The only thing that we've been doing radio-wise is I've been fooling around a little bit with D-Star. I bought a D-Star radio a few weeks ago. And I've been using that both with the local D-Star repeater and also with the open spot device that I have here in the house. So both have been working pretty well. I think the connection I get with the repeater is more solid than the connection I get through the open spot here now. Because the open spot keeps disconnecting from the repeater, not the repeater, but the reflector. And then, it's disconnect and reconnect, disconnect and reconnect. It does that multiple times. So I'm not understanding why that is, but I don't get the same, I don't get nearly the same pattern with the local repeater. So I'm not quite sure why that is, but we'll eventually look at the answer, I suppose. And the other thing that I've been working on is, well, not working on, but with the FM Syntax concept over the weekend. I didn't get in the house fast enough to catch the 2-meter section. So all of my contacts were on 440, 220, and then back to figures just for digital break. And also 6 meters. I had a couple of contacts on 6 meters. So I thought that was pretty interesting because I was able to tune my Mosley antenna, which is a 10, 15, and 20 antenna, to 6 meters. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So we had a little bit of fun with that, and that's basically all that's been going on. So I guess I had to get to you, Matt, AB9DW.
All right, thank you, Dale. And it sounds like you're having fun with D-Star. I guess I would too if I had something like that. But until then, it doesn't particularly interest me. I think I've mentioned this before. That the digital stuff just doesn't doesn't interest me very much. Although the more open that stuff gets, the more interested I get. I think I mentioned this last month. I think there are some devices now that you can get that will work with several different of the popular digital modes, and that's almost interesting enough for me to buy something like that, but not quite yet. Although who knows what the future will bring. And the FM Simplex contest, what was I was going to make a specific comment about that, and now I forgot. But I wish I could have participated in that. I normally do. Well, probably every other year, I think. Every other year, it seems like there's something that's happening on the same day as that contest. I really enjoy that contest, though. Last year, I did win the 2-meter portion of it, and one year I scored very well in the 220 band portion of it, and I would like to do better at that, and especially I've never really gotten any contacts, I don't think, during that contest on 6 meters. I would like to do that too. I have a very strange way of being able to do that with an AM transceiver here. Actually, it's not even a transceiver, it's a Gonset Communicator 3. But I can do FM with that, sort of, just like I can do FM with this Gonset Communicator 4 AM transmitter and receiver. I have done it a handful of times. In fact, I was able to make a contact with John KB9SXH on the 513 repeater with a Gonset Communicator 2 one time, something that not too many people probably would ever try. And my excuse for not participating in the FM Simplex contest this past weekend was that it fell on my daughter's birthday. And I really don't get a lot of time to spend with her as it is. So we went skiing at Lapham Peak. And I do have a video of that on YouTube, but it's not on my regular channel. So Dale, if you're interested, I can email you a link. It's not terribly interesting, though. It's just me and my daughter skiing, and in fact my battery ran out before we got to the interesting portion of the trails. We went on the blue trail, which we normally stick to at Lapham Peak, intermediate difficulty, and 6 miles, and I think my battery ran out just before the 3-mile mark. So the most interesting parts of that trail are on the 3 miles coming back. So unfortunately, there's nothing real spectacular about that video. And when I got back, I probably could have gotten into the middle of the second last portion of the contest and also the last portion, but I was pretty beat and not really up to coming down here and trying to get things set up for that, unfortunately. So maybe next year. And we're at the bottom of the list again. Let's see if we have any more check-ins for the 2 AM net. Come now, please. All right, hearing none, back to the top of the list. Frank, it's your turn again. W9JCC from KC9UDX.
Okay, thank you, Matt, and this is W9JCC. And yeah, welcome to Jerry and Dale. And Jerry, first time on the 2 AM net, glad to hear you in there. Signal report-wise, Matt, you're 40 over 9 because Matt's pretty close to me here. Jerry, T9F out here in S9, and Dale, that's about an S5, but 100% copy on everybody. I can generally copy if station's about an S1, they still come in reasonably well with some background noise. And Matt, when you mentioned the landline feed, well, that kind of blew me off the chair here. It seemed like before AT&T broke up, it seemed like the the phone line was about $8 a month, as if you remember, but maybe that's going back a little further back than that, but it certainly I wouldn't have expected to go up by more than 10 times there. But I guess that's the way it is now. And let's see, the D-Spire, yeah, I'm not into the digital too much as far as the digital price. But there's a lot to be said for it, I guess. I hear Dale and some of the guys talking about their rooms and hotspots and all that stuff, and I'm thinking you can do a similar to what you did on, or used to be able to do on Echolink there, where you can pretty much talk to people all over the world. And Jerry, I wonder how you made out in the contest. I know you and Sherry were kind of going in tandem there, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, you tried to get into more than one grid square, so I wonder if you made, if you got any certificates there on account of that. Anyway, back to net control, W9JCC, go ahead, Matt.
All right, thank you, Frank. And as far as the landline prices, I think that the phone companies are deliberately trying to price everybody out of the market. They want to eliminate that infrastructure, which I kind of can't blame them, because as long as few people are using it, it's very expensive to maintain. But it's unfortunate, because I think that infrastructure, once it goes away, we will miss it. It is extremely reliable, or at least it was before everything went digital. I couldn't even say how it is now. And it's probably not very good anymore, because I know that they don't maintain it like they used to. But it's, in my opinion, it's a lot more fail-safe than the internet and of course cellular phones. So it is kind of like telegraph. It's sad to see an infrastructure go away, but I think it is going away with the phone, just like telegraph did in 2002 or 2003 it was. Anyway, next again we have Jerry. It's your turn again from KC9UDX. Go ahead.
Okay, Matt. This is K9FI. Yeah, I'm curious as to why the signal here, the output is fuzzy. I was looking in the book to see if I have to turn the carrier down like I do on my 690S when I would run AM on there, because I don't know, sometimes I guess you might say you could hear the carrier. And as far as the landline goes, we use the landline. We still, in fact, when we had U-verse put into the house, the young man was looking on the wall in the kitchen, and he says to me, "Oh my gosh," he says, "is that a rotary phone on the wall?" And I said, "Yeah." He says, "Does it work?" I says, "Absolutely. It's been there since 1968. He says to me, "Do you mind if I call my buddy up and tell him what I'm talking on?" So he says, "How do you dial this thing?" And he was about 25 years old, so I explained to him, and he got an idea, and he called his buddy up, who was also working for U-verse, and said, "Guess what, I'm talking on a rotary dial phone here." And he had a kick out of that. But we use the landline, and what we like about it is if you have a power outage, your phone still works. Internet was down, of course. If you have a cell phone, you still got cell, but the landline is nice, and we, like I say, we still use it. It works good. I hope it doesn't go out. In fact, that's what we used to use on our computer, was a dial-up system for a long time. But now we got the internet and the internet, and so so we don't use it anymore. And 5 minutes to you, man, on cross-country skiing. I used to do a lot of that when I was able to, and now I'm too old. My bones don't work so good, and neither do the knees, but we used to enjoy skiing down at the South Kettle Range and all that, and down at Manuka Park, Manali Park. It was a great time, especially on a day like Sunday. That would have been a really nice day for skiing, because the snow would have been good. It wasn't too cold out, and it was a sunny day, and that's when it really was a lot of fun. And as far as the FM sprint contest, my wife and I usually have combining that, and this year we're operating as 2 one-pointer guys. She used to always operate as a technician, and I let her talk, and I talked. Of course, since she realized now that she upgraded to general class, she doesn't get that extra half a point. But we had a lot of problems. We went out there, and I took the 7,000 long, and I was going to use that for, I operate on everything except the digital. I was 220, I did 2 meters, 440, and 6 meters, and I couldn't get my 7,000 to work right. and find out all of a sudden I realized I didn't have any output on the 440 band. In fact, I got to get a hold of what's his name? KS9Q, I think it is, Jim, who works on some of this stuff once in a while. They have him take a look at it, but so I was not able to do very well, Frank. We did okay on 2 meters because we did move between two sites. We were EN52 and EN53. We did that, and then we didn't even get any. I don't recall even getting any contacts at 6 meters, and hardly anything on 440 because, like I said, the radio I couldn't get it to transmit. And I did make a couple of contacts at my THF-6A handy-talkie, but then right away after that, the battery went dead on that one. So that took care of that. And then we did use 220, but that was done with the 37A that I have, an ICOM 37A that I use on the 220 Rick's 220 repeater. And the Black Diamond one used to have that going. So we did get a couple contacts on 220, but we did not hear the variable, the number of stations that we usually heard, the differences in call signs. And we did work W9RH on most of the bands, which is all at the front. And that's kind of disappointing, but like I said, the biggest problem was the radio was giving me a hard time, and that didn't work so hot. So now I want to figure out what's going on with that and find out what I was doing wrong. Oh, I know what I was using. I also have a 742, a Kenwood, and that was transmit on 6 meters either. And I don't know what's going on. I don't understand it. I was trying to figure it out today. But anyhow, we'll have to take a look at that stuff, because otherwise my wife and I really enjoyed that contest. And like I said, the day was a very nice day. We really debated about it. We got late. We ran a half an hour late to get started. We did get on 2 meters until 1:30. But hopefully we'll do better next year, and I'll have my equipment set up better. But she enjoys it, and I get a kick out of the fact that she's having fun talking on the radio. So back to you there, Matt, K9F5.
All right, thank you, Jerry. And I can appreciate not being able to ski anymore. That you know, I see a lot of older people out there, and I don't quite know how they do it. It's kind of a strenuous activity, and it's you know, borderline for me to do it. I'm not in the kind of shape I used to be. When I was a lot younger, I used to go all the time. And now it's difficult to get in shape skiing because I have younger kids and they just don't ski very fast. But you know, we were gone for I think 3 hours doing 6 miles on Sunday. It used to be I would go 3 hours and I would have maybe 20 miles or so. But you know, this last time 3 hours really put a strain on me. So I can certainly appreciate that. And the only places we normally go are Minooka Park and Lapham Peak. And I don't know that we're ever going to go to the county parks again. I might go to Minooka to take my son because I don't think he's ready to go to Lapham Peak yet. Maybe if we stay on the man-made snow circle. But we've always kind of stuck to those two places, and you know, if I ever get around to it, I'd like to try some of the other parks. I always kind of wonder if there are other state parks that have similar skiing conditions, and everybody that I ask, nobody ever gives me a good answer on that. So I just always have assumed that Lapham Peak is considerably better than all the rest, but maybe that's not the case. And someday I would like to ski on the Glacial Drumlin Trail. We always bike that in the summer, but it would be nice to ski on that at least once in a lifetime. I know they don't put tracks on that trail, but I think they do pack the snow, which is good enough for me. And it's been a long time, but I used to go to the Milwaukee County Zoo as well, and I'd like to do that at least one more time too, one of these years. And as far as the rotary phone, you know, I've got a couple of them here too, more than a couple, I guess. And I haven't used any phones here, rotary or touch tone, in I'd like to say about 10 years since I canceled my my landline phone. Maybe it hasn't quite been that long, I'm not sure, but when I do this voice over IP thing, my rotary phones will not dial anymore. But that's not the end of the world, because you know, you can get an app for a cell phone that you can hold it up to the phone and it'll send touch tones. So I can do that. Of course, there's other ways to do that too. What I will miss, though, is being able to dial with the hook. I can probably still do that, although it's been a long time. That is something that always surprises people, if you can do that. Dial a telephone number just by tapping on the hook. Which is, as long as a rotary phone will work, that will work, but that will not work with the voice over IP. That would probably do some really bad things, I would think. Anyway, I don't want to keep yapping here, so let's go back to Dale, AB9DW. It's your turn again, Dale, and before I give it to you, I should also tell you that your signal is a number 3 on my 0 to 10 scale, so 30%, which according to my information here is the same as last month, but down from where it was in the past. Either way, I think you're more readable than you were last month. There seems to be less interference. AB9DW from KC9UDX.
Sorry, Matt, AB9DW here. Thanks for that signal report. Appreciate that. Over here, I don't have you on the S2 at all, but we perfectly copy enough. I have to turn the volume up a little bit and listen a little more carefully. I've got a couple of filters on to try and quiet down some of the background noise. But yeah, perfectly readable. You know, and then I didn't worry too much about the fact that you missed the FM simplex contest because you were out with the family, especially your daughter. So it's always family over radio. Except sometimes in emergency, I suppose. But yeah, family first. So I'm on board with that. If you want, yeah, you can send me a link with the video of your team, and I would enjoy watching that. I just seen your short video on your YouTube channel with the view from the top of the Latin Peak observatory tower there. So that's kind of interesting. I don't usually know that height. So when you look over the railing down towards the ground, that looks a little high. So I was a little comfortable with that. You know, as far as the phone line is concerned, we're with AT&T and DirecTV, and because of that package that we have, we get our landline for $10 a month. So, you know, if yours is more than that, it's probably because you don't have, you know, that particular package. You know, the less services you have, the more expensive they become. So that's probably why. And that's, let's see, I don't know. Gary, yeah, I enjoyed listening to you on the radio on the FM Simplex contest, because you guys were slotting around quite a bit there, changing grid squares. So you must have had a good time with that. Sorry to hear about the fact that some of your equipment didn't work right. But, you know, that's how you, I guess that's how you figure out how the stuff works in times of emergency. So maybe the next time you'll have that all figured out, and you'll be set to go. So there you go. And I heard you a little bit on the FM Simplex contest.